Hi, you.
Is that Red Hot Mama? Who is this?
This is Red.
Yeah, this is my Red Hot Mama. She's a good one. She's smart.
Okay, so, hi guys. I'm Lou. I'm with ECAD. I'm one of the founders. And what we do is we train dogs. Of course, you know that. We train dogs for people with disabilities. Our little niche is that we've always worked with disadvantaged people to train our dogs. Teenagers, now inmates. The kind of dogs we train are for adults or children with physical disabilities. We also train dogs for... Okay, I'll wait. Okay guys, so I'm Lu Picard. I'm with ECAD, and these are some of Gucci's puppies. Most of you know what we do. We train dogs for people with disabilities, and our niche has always been working with disadvantaged people to train our dogs. We do it with at-risk teenagers. Now we're in the prisons working with women prisoners, or inmates, they like to call them inmates, and teaching them how to train dogs so that they can go ahead and give back to society. These are two of Gucci's girls, Pink and Red. And we also train dogs for kids with autism and veterans with PTSD. If you have any questions specifically you'd like to know about, then be sure to send them in, and Courtney will let me know. Okay, so the first question is, how long will the puppies be here with Gucci on the live cam? So they'll be with Gucci on the live cam. Well, Gucci will be with the puppies until they are 8 weeks old. And they're all growing quite well, so I don't think I need to keep her any longer than that. After that, it gets a little harder on her. It takes a lot more out of her body. After that, they go up to Torrington. Actually, this time, we're putting them into what we call our nursery team. They'll go in individual people's homes for 4 to 6 weeks. So they'll be apart from each other at 8 weeks until they're about 16 to 20 weeks old. At that point, we'll bring them over to the prison, and then there's 2 women for each puppy. They'll start their training there. You're asking about different personalities. Well, that's Gracie. Gracie has definitely seen different personalities in the dog. She calls the red one, this one, Red Hot Mama. So, you know, you can take it from there. So she must be a little bit feisty and willing to be first in line. Pink, this one here, Pink, she's a little bit more laid back, reserved, but it's kind of hard to tell at 3 weeks old. If I could tell really good right now who was the alpha, then that's definitely too much dog for us. So one of the questions is, what do I look for in potential service dogs? In a litter of dogs, I like the middle of the road to the low end. My favorite is who I call always late to lunch. That's my favorite. I want the dog who is just kind of easygoing, mosey around. Of course has puppy traits, but one that is, I don't want the one who's always first to eat. That's going to be too much drive for ECAD clients. Our clients Our niche is working with the really harder cases, more specialized training. What do you do? What do the dogs do to help with panic attacks? So, panic attacks are a funny thing. At first, what the dog is going to do is going to help you acknowledge that you're still in the present. So, and then the dog could do a couple of things. He could, depending why you're panicked. If you're becoming anxious because a crowd of people are coming towards you, or even one person's coming towards you, the dog can step in front and make like a barrier, or behind you if there's people coming up from behind you. If you're having what I would call a flashback, that's different than like a panic attack, but you feel it, but it's more like you're going somewhere else. You think you're somewhere else. Then the dog can help ground you, lick your hand, tug on you. Those types of things we talk to the clients about. How do they want the dog to bring them back to reality, or disturb them, distract them, not disturb them, distract them. What I've seen though is no matter what we teach the dog as the initial task, the dog starts to recognize the person having this attack sooner and sooner. And what I want the dog to do is never let the person go into a full-blown one. If the person starts to get a little agitated, that's when I want the dog to start distracting him or engaging him some other way, or teasing him so he starts to focus back on the dog. So there's a question, what is the difference between a service dog and a comfort dog? So the terminology comfort dog is in a gray area. Some people look at that as a dog that gives you comfort. So if you're feeling sad, if you're heard some bad news, if it's just a period of time where something sad or bad or traumatic has happened to you, and the dog helps you with that. A service dog is easier to define. A service dog helps one person mitigate their disability. Not everybody who needs a comfort dog has what you would call a disability. It doesn't disable them. It doesn't stop them from having living a normal life long term. So, comfort dog, I would have to classify that in my own mind like a therapy dog, a dog who visits hospitals, maybe helps a psychiatrist and do sessions with people, and the dog comforts them during that session. That's how I see a comfort dog. Could I train my own personal dog to be? Could I train my own personal dog to be a service dog for PTSD or other disabilities? Yes, you can. You can train your own dog if you are the person with the disability or the other disabilities. Absolutely, you could train your own dog. How do I become a service dog trainer? So how do you become a service dog trainer? Under Assistance Dog International, and I'm a member of that, and what that is that's our membership organization. Okay, so in order for the industry as a whole to get leverage in the government, to get leverage as a profession, we had to unify. We had to come into a group. Otherwise, the government will never listen to us. We would have never got rights to let dogs on airplanes with disabled people if every one of us was just an individual organization. So we unified under Assistance Dog International. People who are members of that, we have to follow rules and procedures. So in order for you to become a service dog trainer underneath the ADI umbrella, you have to apprentice with a service dog organization that is accredited for a minimum of 2 years. And during those 2 years, the organization has to have a plan for you. They have to have taught you a routine of things, all encompassing, all the way from kennel management to service dog training to understanding disabilities to having placed dogs with people with disabilities, having to follow up on them. And the minimum amount of time is 2 years for that. It says, how can I help support ECAD's mission? Well, the easiest way and the most beneficial way for us is through donations. awareness. Explore.org and Dog Bless You, by putting more awareness out there of my organization, other organizations, that type of thing. If you're in the area and you want to become a home handler, that's very beneficial to us. If you have expertise on things such as fundraising on the internet, so then it doesn't matter where you live now, you could participate and help educate us, help bring our marketing department, things like that. So your expertise could help, your donations can help, your time, and time has to be in the area. So if you're in Torrington, Litchfield, Connecticut, that would be beneficial to us. What are some of the tactics you use to train the dogs to notice a panic attack or anxiety attack? So I work with at-risk teenagers, and all those kids are classified bipolar, OCD, anxieties, things like that. So for 20 years I've been in that population of kids. So just from being there and watching the dogs that want to engage with these kids when they're in a crisis helped educate me as to what dogs I want to breed, what dogs would go to what avenues. So then you just enhance the behavior. So if a child is upset and the dog goes toward him, runs toward him, and wants to comfort him, then I want to be right behind that dog going, how wonderful you are. You're such a nice dog. And I have one right now. I give you a little example, Skyrocket. Skyrocket's going to go to a little boy who has autism. This boy is nonverbal. He's between 5 and 7 years old. And the first time he came to our training center, he was anxious. He kept biting the palm of his hand like this. Okay, so that would tell you that he's in some kind of distress. I showed him Tuna. I showed him Daisy. Daisy wanted nothing to do with him. And then Skyrocket came out, and Skyrocket came right up to him and came in front of him and rubbed his head. And then the boy started petting him. So that's just day one. And then they kind of went their own separate ways. And, you know, the boy chased him a little bit. The dog ran and all those normal things. But now that I have the boy come back about every 6 weeks for about an hour or so until I'm ready, till Skyrocket's finished training. And this last time when the child came in, he saw Skyrocket. Now you have to understand, this is a child with autism. They don't give a lot of concrete emotion over things. But he just smiles so much, grabbed Skyrocket, and then started laughing in his fur for no lie, like 2 minutes straight. I was amazed. The grandparents started crying. The father was like, oh my God, I've never seen this before. And then they spent about 40 minutes of playing together, laying on the mat, the boy wanting to brush him, throw the ball, catch the ball. And after 40 minutes, of course, Skyrocket's like, well, I need to go to the bathroom. I need to have a little break. And all I did was put the dog outside to go to the bathroom. I let another dog out. And as soon as that boy saw the other dog, he started biting his hand again, and he started looking in all the crates for Skyrocket. So he already recognized his dog. So that tells me that that's a perfect match. Now all I have to do is teach the dog task. When the mother says wait, the dog has to sit down. Even if it's in a full run, he has to stop himself, he has to sit down or lay down. That will anchor the child. So the task I can do, matching the child and the dog, that's where you have to see the art of it. And you have to not push it. You have to let it happen for them. There are a number of organizations that train service dogs. Are there standards in place for all of the dogs to have the certain capabilities for each training facility unique? Well, all the training facilities that are underneath Assistance Dog International have to follow the standards, the minimum standards and procedures. A lot of them exceed them. And Assistance Dog International does an accreditation, which is quite lengthy and really very, very detailed. They check your financials, they check your application process, they call your clients. They spend 3 days with us to give us our accreditation and all of our manuals. It took us about 3 months to prepare all the paperwork so that they could review it the way they wanted to and line up all the clients. You know, you have to get clearances and things. So ECAD has been accredited for 15 years now. Every 5 years they come back and they reaccredit us, and we have to be up to speed on all of their procedures, all of the standards. We have to show that we're complying with them. So if you're underneath an ADI accredited organization, yes, you should expect the same kind of training. The Bill of Rights for the client are the same. The follow-up requirements are the same. Now, some of us may exceed those standards, but they have to at least meet the standards. I understand some dogs don't end up being service dog even after training. These dogs are all put up for adoption. So in my ECAD world, we have service dogs, we have facility dogs, we have dogs that can go to children with autism. So if they cannot fulfill those 3 jobs for us, or veterans with PTSD, so there's 4 career paths that a dog can take for ECAD. If they could not fulfill any of those 4 careers, then we do put them up for adoption. And there's an adoption fee. That can be anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000. That pays for the dog's spay and neutered, their hip x-rays we've done on them, very little of their training, but at least gives us back some of our hard cash that we put into the dog. And it goes back into the programs. I have PTSD and a brain injury and often get confused and lost. Do you think a service dog would help me with that? So I think a service dog could help you with that. I would have to have more information as far as, do you already have a routine in your life? For instance, every Monday you're at your doctor's, every Wednesday you're grocery shopping. Tuesdays and Thursdays you take a walk around the park or a walk around your neighborhood. I'm simplifying things, okay? But if you already have a routine going, then what will happen is the dog will get into those routines with you. So when you do become confused, especially if you're taking a walk around, or let's say you're at the doctor's office, there was a lot of people, you got confused, you got turned around. Well, about the 3rd or 4th time you've been to that doctor's office, you just have to tell the dog, take me out. Let's get out of here. Let's get out of here. The dog will start to look for the exit that you usually took with him, because dogs get into routines. They absolutely could remind you to take your medication if that's something that's troubling for you. They can help you less the confusion by blocking people if they're coming at you too quickly. So I think it could help you. I just don't have enough specifics to tell you how much. Let me see. How do you get a dog to stop being aggressive? Well, I guess you'd have to find out what he's aggressive about. And is he being aggressive protecting, or is he being aggressive fearful? So if he's being aggressive fearful, you may not be able to stop him from that. You may be able to manage it by seeing the cues come on and redirecting your dog. If he's being aggressive protecting, then you have to step up to the plate and be more of the alpha for that dog so he doesn't feel he should protect you. And that is a relationship type of bonding thing. Sometimes more exercise, more direction of the dog, what he can and cannot do. Simple things like he never goes out the door ahead of you. He doesn't go out a door until you tell him to. That can bring a dog back into order of you being the boss and can let him be a little calmer. But I need to know what he's aggressive about and how long it's been going on and the breed of the dog. How did you choose Gucci and Patriot as parents? So Gucci is a long line from us. She is the, now you're going to catch me here. So Gucci is, who's Gucci's parents? I want to say Jasmine. Yes, Jasmine and
Sister.
who? Gracie.
Oh, I thought Jasmine was Gucci's sister.
So who's Gucci's mother? Ruthie? If it's Ruthie and Russell.
I don't remember.
I'd have to look it up. But so out of Gucci's litter, that was a designer litter. Okay, So I have 20 years of breeding my line. So Gucci was confident. She was a little bit funny, not too funny. She was great in public. She learned her commands well. She was a little stubborn, not too stubborn. Okay? And when you're picking out a girl, a female, at least for me, I want the dog to have, she's the one who's spending the most time with the puppies. She's the one who's going to influence their early development. So I want a dog who is all around good dog. Not too mushy, but a little bit mushy. Confident enough to go with me to the mall during Christmas break, but not necessarily Black Friday. And I don't need that much confidence. And Gucci had all of that. Plus, Gucci was really attentive to children. She's always very attentive to your mood. If you're in a bad mood, she wants to come and comfort you. If she feels like you're not focused, she tries to focus you. That's instinctive for her. Patriot, on the other hand, Patriot is like full of fun, wants to go everywhere, is a little bit Velcro dog. So, and confident, he's still confident, but he's a little bit of a Velcro dog. He's not going to try to run 50 feet in front of you. He might only be 10 feet in front of you. So, putting them together, this is the first time. Gucci, I already know, she had a litter before. So this one with Patriot will give me more information about what Gucci actually puts into the line. And this is her second litter, so she's calmer about being a mom. All those things are important, very important to the raising of the puppies. Yes, I can definitely introduce you to some of the puppies. Okay, so let me wake them up. Come here, Purple. So right now they don't have names. Here's Purple, female. So they're just identified by color of collar. Okay. What do you think, Purple?
Purple was a little timid.
So Purple is still not come out of her shell just yet. She's still a little bit reserved, which is okay. That's okay, because if she was out there socializing every minute of the day, then I already know that she's got too much drive in her. So, you have a little yawn for them. So this is Purple. Okay. You want to hand them to me?
Oh, yeah.
This is Black. This is our comes late to lunch. This one sleeps through some meals, but you couldn't tell by weighing him. So he's Black. It's a boy, and we'll call him late to lunch for right now. Now the theme for this litter is going to be cheese again. So
another yawn.
Yeah. So what will happen is we'll tell you the last names of all the other cheeses, so that we don't repeat them. But we'll have that going on in about 2 weeks to name the puppy game. So this is Black. You see Gracie right there over my shoulder? That's our puppy nanny. Who's this?
This is Red Hot Mama.
Okay, we're back to Red Hot Mama. So she must be our social one. Gracie swears she was the first one born.
No, Pink is the first
one born. Pink was the first one born. Okay. So this is Red. And you guys watching, you'll have to see if she's as spunky as Gracie says. I don't know, she doesn't seem so red hot right to me. She's going to sleep.
She's still sleeping.
Okay.
This is Green.
This is Green. He's the heaviest of them all. Light as well. What do you think about him, Grace?
He's a gentle boy.
So Gracie says he's a gentle little boy. There's another question here that says, does it ever turn out that the dog is not interested in being a service dog? Yes, it does. We do have some dogs that think that working for a living is not really up to them. They would rather chase butterflies and balls and squirrels. And we adopt them out. We adopt them, and we have a list of people waiting for our dogs. We don't have that many that drop. So Yeah, it has to be a choice on their side too. And I want it to be their choice because there's a couple things. The dog who chases butterflies and goes after the ball and is so eager to see everything going on in the world, that one's easy to decide it shouldn't be a service dog. But there's other ones that shouldn't be either. The one that when you take it to the mall comes back the next day, and I know we don't want to talk about poop, but the poop is very loose. And even though the first time you take him to the mall, maybe it's okay. But if it happens by the third, the fourth time you take him to the mall, then he's not enjoying himself there, or she's not enjoying herself there, and is actually developing anxieties about being there, a nervous stomach, let's say. So they shouldn't be service dogs either. But they could be a nice facility dog, a dog that just stays in that particular facility, so he gets or she gets used to it, gets used to the people, always in the same place, and then is okay. They could go for that career. Is Patriot met his kids? No, Patriot has not met his kids yet. Gucci will not allow that at this point. Another week or two, we'll have our puppy petting party, and then Patriot will come and meet them.
This is Pink.
Okay, so this is Pink.
Firstborn.
Gracie says this was the firstborn.
She's quite confident.
Do you hear her?
About herself.
So she says that
she's usually first at everything.
Okay, so we're going to keep track of that, guys. We want to know if Pink is truly first at everything. Okay, here's her color. And Gracie said that she is always first in line. Okay. So what are puppy raisers required to do, and how do they get their puppies? So we look for puppy raisers only for 4 to 6 weeks. So it's not like they get to keep the dog. So I really look for a nursery team. They have to be home during the daytime. They have to be willing to take the dog to, let's say, out walking around the neighborhood, introduce it to the vacuum cleaner. We give them a little class on what we're looking for them to do. We also have a little calendar that says, the first day or two, just let them introduce them to your family, and then after the 4th day, you can introduce them to outside people. I like everything to go slow and easy. As long as the dog is enjoying it, we can go forward. If the dog starts to get nervous, then we have to stop or go backwards. And stop would mean there's a balloon in your house, the dog is nervous. I would not necessarily get rid of the balloon, but I might let the dog be further away from the balloon for a while and let him or her come up to it on their own. Things like that. You have some Great Dane mixed puppies in your line. What advantage and disadvantage do they have? Well, the advantage is they gave us height and they gave us thickness. The disadvantage would probably be my lack of knowledge of Great Danes as a whole. We did raise one. I had an older one that Project Service Dogs gave me, so I could learn a little bit about them. Her name was Bella. And then they also gave me a puppy by the name of Yoda, who is now 7.5, almost 8. The disadvantage of purebred Great Danes is their size, and it's hard to move them around for us and our clients. The mixing of the two, it gave my line a little bit of extra cautiousness, suspiciousness, where the dogs are not just that loving, open, I love everybody. Now they kind of stand back and look at you and decide first if they like you or not, which is not necessarily a disadvantage if all they do is stand and watch. It becomes a disadvantage if they decide that their first reaction should be barking. So I guess what I would say is that it has not been a disadvantage to me to bring the Lab Danes into the line. It was a little different challenge because of the breed and what the breed need. For me, I needed to learn about it. My staff needed to learn about it. And the advantages are we got taller dogs for the veterans. We got dogs who are thicker in their bone. It makes it a little slower maybe in some cases. So it gives the time for the veteran or the person that has them a little more time to decide what's going to happen. And we did have a bigger dropout rate, but again, that would happen if I put any other line into my Goldens for a while. You have to kind of weed it out. What would you do to stop a dog from jumping at a person when... Oh, sorry, I missed it. What would you do to stop a dog from jumping at a person when she sees them? Well, how old is the dog? And what I would do, if it's an adult dog and it was not taught to stop jumping, because it has to be taught, I would step on the leash. I would step on the leash maybe a foot, 18 inches away, so it could not fully jump up. And then allow it to jump until it decided to sit, which will only take a minute or two, depending on the breed. And when it sat, that's when I would praise them. And I would repeat this over and over again till the dog got in the habit of, if I jump, I never get to land on the person. It becomes frustrating. But if I sit, people get happy, I get a treat, I get what I want, which was them petting me. You also have to consider the energy in the dog. If it's a young dog, exercise him before you do this. Wear him out before you do this task. And then teach him. If he's coming straight out of the crate, it's hard to get the dog when he's fully excited not to want to jump if he's already used to doing it. So if it's right out of the bat, as a puppy, teach him to sit right from the get-go. If he already has the bad behavior, you could always step on the leash and set up the scenario so that you can praise when he does it. And but in the long term, exercise that dog a lot, then practice the steps. What is the purpose of the red cups hanging on the string? Okay, so this is our first stage mobile. We want the dogs to push through the cups, feel things hitting their body, not care about that, jumping up, looking up to play with them. Right now we just have it on the side. If you notice, we have shavings back here. We have this area as their play area. The shavings is where the dog should toilet, and I want them to toilet there. We made it very easy. Now what we're going to do is put the mobile over that, so they have to push through the cups in order to get there to go to the bathroom. Everything becomes a little harder, a little stronger for their drive. And then the ones who won't push through to go, I note that their drive is weak. The one who has no problem pushing through, I note it. Strong drive for what they want. Then the red cups will change. The weight on, now you'll notice there's a yellow mustard. There's a brown scooper. So in some of these cups, the cups don't hurt them. They're very light, they just push aside. Then it's going to go more, something heavier, where they're actually going to feel it on their body a little bit more and a little bit more. Gracie is wonderful. Can you tell her that, please? She is so sweet to those little ones. Gracie, you're wonderful. They love you.
Thank you.
We're going to convince Gracie to do her own little spot. What do you guys think? You want Gracie doing her own little spot every day when she's massaging the puppies? A little answering question? At what point will the milk bar close and the puppies will be just puppy food? So we're now starting, so now they're 3.5 weeks. So they're going to continue to nurse on their mother for another 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks maybe, depending on her. We're starting to feed them puppy food, and they're still nursing. As their teeth get bigger, it starts to hurt Gucci more to nurse, and that's when she chooses not to do it. And they'll cry longer, she'll nurse less, and then once they're getting all their shots right around 6 weeks, we start taking them outside, and she'll wear them out. She'll wear them out so that they cannot be on the milk bar. That's when Dad is helpful. Then Dad comes in. Patriot would be an asset at that time. He would come in and kind of distract them and teach them to pick up sticks and run around the yard and wear them out for Gucci. Okay, so I just want to remind you guys that ECAD is a nonprofit, so any way to help us, making donations on our Facebook, joining us as fans on our Facebook, coming to our events, things like that, shopping on the Emporium, that's all ways to help ECAD. We are going to have our contest naming a puppy. I'm sure you'll be well involved in that. You guys usually are. I really want to thank you for watching the puppies and let you know Maya had her puppies last night. She had 5 of them. So she'll be going live very soon as well. So I want to thank you, and let us know if you want Gracie to have her own little half-hour, hour spot with you guys, and we'll arrange that too. Thank you.